Good morning. Well, here we're going to go over the backpack I carried in Northern California section from Callahan's Lodge south of Ashland to my hometown here in Chester. It's about 387 miles. I carried the Hyperlite Junction 3400. Loved everything about this backpack except for the shoulder straps. These shoulder straps murdered me. They're not comfortable, at least for me. I ran into probably a dozen or more other thru hikers that I talked to because we're going south, and with all the Nobos going north, we hit the bubble pretty hard. And I talked to quite a few of them, same exact backpack, that had a lot of problems with these shoulder straps. So anyway, if I had to do it over again, would probably order the S straps, but honestly, they're just too narrow and they're not padded enough compared to, say, my Flash 45 from REI or the Atom Packs Atom Plus I got. A lot more padding in the straps. And if there's one thing you want to be comfortable carrying a backpack. After 387 miles, I should have got used to any kind of shoulder strap issues, you know, like being sore at the beginning or whatever. It wasn't from, just not being used to it. It was because the straps weren't very comfortable. The other issue I had with this pack, and I don't have a big chest, was the shoulder strap, the sternum strap, on its biggest setting, widest it could go, was still barely not too tight. I mean, there was no adjustment left for me here, and I'm only a size 44 chest, so, and this was a tall, so you'd think with the tall size, they'd give you a little more adjustability. So anyway, I talked to Hyperlite about it. They're not willing to accommodate me and try and put on any different shoulder straps. So basically this pack is probably going up for sale at some point. Well, anyway, let's get down to the nitty gritty here. Let's start off with the base weight. Let it get zeroed. Here we go. I don't know if you can ever see this anyway, but my base weight was 14 pounds, 3 ounces. That does not include the windscreen I had on here, so add an ounce on it. I think it was only an ounce for the little hazy IPA beer can windscreen I made by hand. So 14 pounds, 4 ounces would have been my base weight if you add an ounce on there. I carried my 1/8 pad from Mount Laurel Designs on here on the top, and the Tyvek on top, because typically it'd get a little wet on the bottom, be dirty, so I carried that on top. Working away from the outside again, I had a 1.5 liter bottle on one side and a 1 liter smart water bottle on the other. I had on the front here a 3/4 liter smart water bottle, had the sports cap on top. Had my Garmin Reach Mini 2. This Elemental Horizons water bottle holder, and Hyperlite, forget the name of this pocket, but it's basically your phone pocket. I didn't really use this much. I ended up getting rid of it later on down. Just was putting some snacks and hydration tabs and stuff like that in here. My phone was always in my fanny pack, so I really didn't need this. Always have a carabiner on there to hold and dry out my handkerchief that I wear on my head, bandana. Also on the outside here, at the beginning, I carried a pair of what we call jets because my buddy's family member last year, this one's just for visual because the other one I actually took the paracord off of and used inside my shoe toward the end there. I'll go over why I did that later in my gear review. But homemade Ultra inserts. Just kind of taped up the bottom there to hold the paracord in place. These are for like lightweight shower shoes. But I found that they weren't very nice for camp shoes, and for, I don't know, these are like 1.5 ounces, 2 ounces. I just added another couple ounces to those Dollar General flip-flops and enjoyed those much more. I carried a small dry-off rag. I found that I didn't really use this. Ended up using my handkerchiefs more, so ended up sending that home. I had my Evernew and my CNOC together, so I had 4-liter capability. Probably never needed the Evernew, but you know, I didn't know then, and I know now, I don't need that much water capability. I had a mosquito head net. We didn't know what the mosquitoes would be like. It turned out, I think I had 3 mosquitoes on me the whole trip. We started off June 28th, and it was just too late in the year for those suckers. And we never really had much. I used this basically for those black gnats that get in your face. So the head net I always had. Like I showed you on the last one, I had mosquito pants. Never had to use these, but around here where I live in the Caribou Wilderness, you're gonna get bled out if you don't have a pair of these in July. Also carried a mosquito jacket because the Ridge Merino wool hoodie I carry, they can drill right through that. And I learned that last year up in the Cascades in Washington. Anyway, carried that, ended up sending that home earlier than the mosquito pants. Blue ball. Toilet paper holder with my deuce of spades. In the outside pocket, the Sawyer squeeze. And this one has a hip belt pocket on both sides. Left side, if I had a hip belt pocket, always had my hydration tabs in it. Some snacks. This one had my toothbrush, sun gloves, and the buff that I carried at the beginning. Ended up not using this. Sent that home. All right, working our way to the inside. On top, my tent, Altaplex by Z-Packs. Love this tent. Go over that in my gear review. My Marmot precip jacket. Now, if I saw the rain was imminent or threatening, my rain gear, these were pants at the beginning, they weren't shorts. Cut those down, South Kennedy Meadows is when I cut those down. But yeah, if I saw the rain was imminent, this was moved from the inside to the outside pocket. Had my cook set, normal cook set with my Tokes 750, the BRS stove, a bandana with, on the inside would have been a 110 gram small fuel canister. I did carry at the beginning my inflatable air pillow, and my thoughts on that were if I needed my puffy jacket to wear inside my quilt to be more warm, then I would use this inside the other pillow with the fleece to kind of have more of a pillow instead of using my clothing, which probably wouldn't have been enough loft for a pillow. But never used this, ended up sending that home. Triage center, I've been over what's in that a couple videos ago. First aid kit, if you will. I call it triage center because I used it so much. Food bag, Z-Packs, Dyneema food bag, my Neo Air X-Lite Thermarest. By the way, this is the long and wide version. Love it, long and wide. Sleep is so important. Why go with a short, narrow one when you can be comfortable and sleep well? So that's my 2 cents on a sleeping pad. Don't skimp on it, it's worth the wait. Inflator bag, same one, doubles as my laundry bag. Carried my 20-degree UGQ Banded XL quilt. Long, wide toe box, 950 fill with 10T inside and out to help lighten it up with the 950 and 10T, because why not? I could. My Enlightened Equipment Torrid Puffy. Also in my bag liner. Spare clothing. Only difference between the Sierra and what I carried for spare clothing was I had, at the beginning I wore these Injinji toe socks as sock liners. So I had these under my Darn Tough socks. That ended up being a mistake. You either were one or the other. Don't use these as sock liners, in my opinion. They didn't work out well for me. This is what started the blister process, because my toe box shrank because I had 2 pairs of socks, and they were much too warm with 2 pairs of socks, causing my feet to get hot. So guy I hiked with, Muggle, he swears by these, but he wears them by themselves. And his feet were really clean wearing these, so I might have to try these by themselves versus Darn Toughs. My airport bag by Z-Packs. Love this bag liner. Definitely worked like as it should when I flew home with it. Great airport bag. So that covers what was in my Hyperlite and what I carried in Northern California. Next video is going to be an extensive video, probably be a longer video, and I'm going to go over every piece of gear, what I carried, why I liked it, why not. One thing I haven't gone over are my trekking poles. These are not my original trekking poles. I had a pair of Lucky aluminum. I forget the exact name of them right now. I'll have to get back to you on that. But I like those poles. What I didn't like, only thing I didn't like about those Lucky poles was the straps. When they got wet, it was hard to get your hand into them. On the Luckies, these little tips both gave up and flew inside and were rattling around inside, so I had no tips. When I took the fall on Mather Pass, I had bent the pole, which wasn't that big an issue. It could have gone all the way to Mexico with them like that. Left them on the ground one night. The one pole, you only need one pole for your Altaplex Z-Packs. So my spare pole I had left lying on the ground, and a critter got into them, probably a little pack rat or mouse, and chewed halfway through my strap. So those poles were done, and in Wrightwood at the hardware store I picked these up, and I like these Black Diamond poles. Probably gonna have these for a while. So there you have it. That's what I carried in Northern California. And like I said, I'll be going over all the gear extensively here in my next video. Happy trails.